In industries like steel and cement, there is always a gradual buildup of material impurities. These impurities harden on the inside and form rings or boulders, which reduce the efficiency of the kiln. Hence, a worker must periodically go in there and loosen the materials so that they can be removed. In the early days, people would shut down the kiln or furnace and wait for it to cool down. Then, they would get inside with large sledgehammers and try to break the deposits manually. Then someone had the bright idea of using a large gauge shotgun to blaze away at the deposits and break them. This meant that they wouldn't have to wait for the kiln to cool down. Industrial shotgun is a heavy industrial gun used in cement plants, ferroalloy plants, power plants, copper smelters and other manufacturing processes, where material buildup halts the manufacturing process. Using such a system allows the manufacturer to speed up the cleaning process and reduce equipment downtime. Before shotguns were used for cleaning, the equipment would have to be turned off, and workers would have to wait a long time for the kiln to cool before removing obstructions manually. This procedure was very inefficient and unproductive. Winchester and Remington are two major manufacturers of kiln guns. Remington's system is called Master Blaster and is usually painted green, while Winchester calls their tools Western and Ring Blaster and usually paint them red. The primary advantage of using shotguns is that the kiln can remain active while the shotgun is being used to destroy built-up material, which interferes with the kiln's operation. The guns used in these processes are usually 8 gauge or larger. 8 gauge is a desirable size, simply because it's absolutely huge and can fire large, heavy payloads, which efficiently remove obstacles. It is mounted on a stand, so that the user doesn't have to bear the recoil forces. 8 gauge shotgun ammunition is designed to be used only in the industrial 8 gauge tool. The ammunition has a double diameter brass head, which prevents it from chambering in a commercially available gun, and can only be used for industrial purposes. Different types of loads are using for 8 gauge industrial shotgun. They enable you to create a highly effective impact system tailored to meet your specific needs. Each load is tailored to specific industrial use and performance requirement. There are loads used for softer material and for close-range shooting applications to avoid damage in shorter kilns. Loads used for hard crust and soft inside build-up. Loads used for the removal of very hard clinker rings and for ferroalloy furnace tapping. Loads used for close-range shooting of hard material, such as build-ups in storage bins, silos, cyclones, and dust collectors. Loads used for ash build-up removal in electric power plants, and etc. The advantage of using the industrial gun for removing kiln rings is reduced production time, because you can stand secure outside the kiln and remove rings. Without the gun, the kiln must be shut down and the rings must be removed with pneumatic tools. This job is neither safe nor pleasant. The gun is designed to keep the kiln clean, not to remove enormous rings, which have almost closed the kiln. The foreman knows when a ring starts to build, even if he cannot see it, since it reduces the flow of air and ruins dispersion of heat in the kiln. As soon as these signs become evident, turn off the burner and reduce the rotation speed. Within a short time the dust will have settled, and you can aim the gun and start to shoot. Under regular circumstances the ring will be shot down within 10 to 15 minutes, using approximately 200 to 300 cartridges. Sure, the time of removing the ring and the number of used cartridges depends on the ring behavior, which change from kiln to kiln. Under unique circumstances, during specific production, it is possible to remove the ring when it is almost as long as the kiln itself. With big rings, you can use the gun to shave rings down in size by shooting continuously, parallel to the kiln side, while the kiln rotates. This method will keep the kiln in operation. But consumption of cartridges can be enormous, and may reach up to 3,000 per day. If you asked me about the risk of using the gun and damaging the brick lining, or kiln chains, or equipment, my answer will be no. There is no risk of damaging the bricks, unless you intend to do so, since you shoot almost parallel to the sides of the kiln. Regarding to kiln chains, after a long period of shooting directly on the chains, damage can occur. Damage will only happen if the gun is incorrectly aimed while you are shooting directly into the middle of the kiln, instead of at the sides, where the rings are located. Some rings are located so far back of the kiln that they cannot be seen. These rings can also be removed with the gun by shooting along the side of the kiln while it is slowly rotating. The consumption of ammunition increases somewhat when you shoot invisible rings. Industrial gunshot can be used effectively in the rotary kilns to remove nose rings, boulders, and build up around the kiln burner pipe. Industrial gunshot are used also to remove snowmen or Christmas tree material buildup problems in the cooler area that inhibit your rotary kiln operation. You can use the gun also to shoot down the burning zone bricks while the kiln is cooling, for replacing a worn-out brick lining. This kind of shooting is different from shooting rings and balls, because you shoot as perpendicular as possible to the kiln sides. Perpendicular shooting can cause a risk of ricochets, so the shooter must therefore be protected by a shield. Demolishing bricks is easier, faster, and safer by using the industrial gun. No need to wait 12 hours or 24 hours for kiln cooling before going inside with your breaking tools or machinery. You can start removing bricks in a very short time. To shoot down kiln brick lining, put the gun in front of the kiln to either side of the burner. Then, aim the tool at one edge of the upper portion of brick lining and start the shooting, as in this video. To speed bricks removing operation, a second man should feed the loads into the gun chamber. Keep in mind that The kiln downtime cost saving will pay for loads with the first application of using the industrial shotgun. Saving time is a money saving.